to another brand new episode here on 1950's Farm. As you can see, the soybean harvest continues today, and probably for the next 10. But yeah, so I've since the last episode, because the plan sometimes is to do a little bit off camera, get a bit further in, and then go from there. But with real life stuff and everything else, I just haven't had time. So we're going from breed number 2. But that's cool. We all like a good harvest, don't we? Especially with the older equipment. I've got to be honest, I really look forward to doing these episodes. Really look forward to them. There's some like series that sometimes I've done in the past where it's kind of like, do you know what I mean? But 1950's Farm for me, you know, is a really enjoyable thing to do, because it's not something that I would normally do. You know, if you ask me in real life, am I interested in the older machinery? Yes, in terms of history, but would I ever use them in farming sim? No, I'd stick with the stuff that I've driven, and you know, the stuff that's relevant to me. I mean, the oldest I'd probably ever go would be like the David Browns, the Chicken Run series, as I call it. You know, that probably would be as far back as I go, because I love that series just for the fact that I'm using the David Browns. Yeah. But this series, I absolutely adore this, and really, I guess in a way I've proven to myself that I've been missing out really on farming sim. Now I don't know what the older equipment's been like in the other versions of the game. I just know obviously what it's like in FS22, because obviously I use them, but you know, as I say, I've been missing out if they've been this good, because I don't know, it's a far more there's actual proper graft to it, you know. You know, when I finish combining this field, I know I've combined this field. Now if I had the 8900 Lexion or the John Deere X9 or 9X or whatever it is, you know, what would I be done this field? Probably an hour in real life, you know, probably take me about an hour. You know, but with 1950's Farm, you know, if I had the time, I could sit here, and it's now 8:45 in the morning, I'd still be probably sat here at, you know, sort of 3 o'clock this afternoon doing this. But yeah, it's I'd say I do really enjoy it, and there's some I say big changes coming to the 2 farms. Not drastic, you know, sort of spoil the almost ambience of the save, but the dairy farm's going to get updated, because I'm not really happy with that. I don't like that. And as I've said before, you know, tipping in sheds for, you know, America, which is where we are, in terms of this save and that, you know, that's not really something that is done. And I've sort of spoken to a YouTube viewer, friend, PA Plowboy, and he sort of kind of explained the reasons why that's not really the case, and why they don't do it. So yeah, as I say, it's something I want to get away with, because it's not commonplace now or then, from what I can kind of gather. But yeah, as I say, we'll get some new silos. Again, he recommended some silos to add on to the map and the farm, to which I'm going to be doing. They're in the mod folder. They're all ready to go. I say when winter comes, and we've got all of our sort of land work done. I am going to have to stop here. We've got all of our land work done, then it's time to change, as I say, the dairy farm, and see if we can make it a little bit more authentic. Like I say, the red buildings that is part of the, is it JBL pack, I think. I'm so sorry if you watch this series and I've got your name wrong. I really should look that up before I come online, but or before I start recording. But yeah, that pack is an awesome shed pack. And if you are still playing FS22 and you would like the American shed pack, then Giants Mod Hub is the place to get it from. But yeah, the pile of poo is getting bigger by the day. I keep emptying it out. The manure sort of, well, it's in the actual grain shed itself, but yeah, I keep emptying it out. I'm actually coming at this the wrong way, aren't I? I want to be that way. So yeah, anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get nice and early in with the time lapse, because we've got a lot to do, and we need to be cracking on. You mustn't forget this year to sell the ear of corn, or the corn ears, I guess. Not the corn ears, the corn ears. Sounds like a family, doesn't it? Oh, meet the corn ears. Alright, let's get this reversed and tipped in. And let's see what we can do. Don't want to go too far back, for the same reason of I obviously don't want it to bleed through the walls. That's why I don't like this shed pack, or why I don't like these sheds. First is they're not really that authentic. Second off is that, as I say, when you do tips crop and stuff in here, they allow it to go through the walls, which is a bit, sort of frustrating, especially for someone that has quite severe OCD. It doesn't do that very good. It's kind of like, I need to go clear it up now. Yeah, there we go. Don't want to be going much further back there, to be fair. So we'll keep coming further forward. Alright, I really must get this yard cleared up as well. It's just, imagine if my mum was to see this, she'd be like, will you tidy that yard up? Oh dear. Anyway, we've got that grass to cut as well. I might turn that over to another cropping field, to be fair, because the grass at the back of the farm that we cut, that I tend to cut quite a bit, actually does do the perfect amount of hay for one season. So I might turn that other field over to a cropping field, and we'll go from there. We could have like a bigger field of corn then. Yeah, we could do, excuse me, we could do that. Right, we'll get back to the tractor and we'll crack on. So the harvest continues, and we're doing all right actually. The shed is beginning to fill quite nicely, so I thought I would drop back in, touch base with you all. As I've said before, I've tried to sort of slowly start to go away from the massive chunk of time lapse in the middle of a video, and then sort of the beginning and the ending, and then the rest of the video is just time lapse. It was suggested by a couple of my viewers that maybe to do it that way. So as always, as I say, I aim to sort of to try and do the right things and do what's suggested. Any help always gratefully received. So yeah, I'm gonna say this is going pretty good. We'll do, as I say, we'll do the rest of this video as far as we get, and then by the time you come back for the next episode, then the combining should be finished in this field. I've got a couple of nights where I can just kind of sit completely, and afternoons where I can just completely sit and do what is necessary on here to get the combining finished. So it's going to work out quite nice. So when we get back, we'll be on to ploughing then, and it may well be as well that I've got quite a bit of the ploughing done already, because we do a lot of ploughing on the save. And like I've said before, I want to show you all everything that I do. At the same time, I don't want to just bog down 4 or 5 videos in a row of combining, 4 or 5 videos in a row of ploughing and different things. I know it's a farming channel, and I know that's farming, but at the same time, I sort of want to try and keep it as fresh and as interesting as as I possibly can. Because once we get the ploughing done, then we're into drilling. So once we've got that done, we're into drilling. Then we've got our farm to sort out as well. We've also got the muck spreading to do, although again I'm still waiting really there's not enough muck there at the moment in that heap for me to finish that field. So I do need more muck. So at the moment I'm just sort of, every time I load the game in, I'm making sure the straw bar is full so that they can poo a lot, because say we need it, and ideally we need it before the spring. So I'd like to think that we could maybe over the winter months, it will give us a winter ploughing job. As I said I've said a few times, my granddad and Ray, who I sort of talk to and sort of confer with in terms of information and making sure that I'm sort of saying or doing right, as you would have done. And he has often told me of winter days that would be and back then when he was sort of in his early 20s, 30s, working on the farm, working with the old equipment. Back then in England, winters were winters, where it would snow for 4 months of the year, and now, I mean, we're lucky if we get a little bit of slush once every 10 years. Certainly where I live, that's the case. I mean, I know that places like Scotland and Wales and probably Yorkshire and the moors and places like that's probably very different, and they perhaps do get snow every year. But where I live in sort of Lincolnshire, like I say, we're I think the last proper amount of snowfall that we had was the beast from the east in 2018. I can remember since then there's been like half a day where we've woke up in the morning and there's a really thin layer of snow, and then by sort of lunchtime it's gone again. But back then winters were winters, and he's very sort of very often told me that he'd have to rest his dinner tin on the engine just to thaw out his sandwiches enough to be able to eat. wrapped up in tarpaulin, in blankets, in sort of everything you can think of that may be warm, uh, and that just trying to at least keep, as he used to say, keep my temperature to at least 0. And apparently as well, when he said, like, we would work till sometimes, like on the farm, they would work till 7, 8 at night, and that, bear in mind, again, a couple of the tractors that he used when he was younger, he does actually own now. He bought them off the farm. The farm were going to get rid of them. He bought them off the farm, and he's kind of like in his retirement, because he's now 92, I think. I'm sorry, Ray, if I've got that wrong. Especially if I've made you older than what you are. I mean, you look about 100, but I'm joking. Yeah, so he's got them, and he's, as I say, in his sort of retirement years, and I use the term very loosely, because he still goes out every summer grain carting for a local farm and ploughing and odd jobs like that. So I use the term retirement very, very loosely. But yeah, in his spare time, usually over winters and stuff, he's restored them, and I've seen the lights on them, and the lights, well, that at best they're an average torch. So to consider that in the middle of winter, you'd be out in the fields, till 7, 8 o'clock at night, sort of ploughing or doing whatever, is an amazing thought. I mean, when I moved, eventually got onto a farm, especially the second farm, I would be out in the winter time if the frosts were severe enough and hard enough so that I could travel. I'd be out. Some days I would work nights sometimes, and so I would sleep through the day, obviously, and then go to work and plough overnight while the ground was hard with the frost. And with xenon lights and fully heated cabs, fully heated seat, and all of that, I can't even begin to imagine what it must have been like, because there was an odd couple of times when I was ploughing. I remember one particular night, it was -13, which I've never experienced sort of before, and I was sat in my tractor. I had the heater on full, I had the seat on full, I had everything on, but obviously throughout the night you would have to get outside, you'd have to go out either to the toilet, or if something needed adjusting on the plough, or whatever. And god dear me, that is like the coldest I have ever known it. I mean, it was brassica, it really was. It was brass monkeys weather. Boy, was it cold, so to do that in an open tractor, or crawler as it would have been. They had an old Caterpillar crawler, and then moved over to the track marshal. Now, funnily enough, the track marshal that my granddad used to drive, and then when I went onto the farm all those years later, they allowed me to do a couple of days ploughing with it as well. I'm actually trying to buy that off the farm at the moment. They're quite reluctant. I believe I've made quite a significant fair bid, but I've been told that they're going to get rid of it, and I just sort of thought I'd like to own that. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'll cross that bridge if I'm successful in getting it. But they reckon that they're either gonna scrap it, which really annoys me, because obviously I'm offering them cash for it, or it's going to go to a local restorer, said keeper of vintage tractors, and apparently that they would rather it went to him than to me, even though that tractor to me has got a lot of history, because in the summer I spent nearly all of my childhood on that tractor while my granddad was ploughing. As I said before, the farm that we both worked on was really, really local to where I lived and grew up. It was a 5-minute walk down the road. and so when they were doing all the fields which surrounded where I lived, you know, when Grandad's crawler well, as soon as you saw the combine, I knew I was about a week, maybe 2 weeks from seeing Grandad's crawler. And once I saw Grandad's crawler, that was it. Every day at 9 o'clock, I'd say to Mum in the school holidays, "I'm off to work, Mum." And and I wouldn't be that old either. I'd be like 5, 6, 7, and I'd walk down the road to my where my granddad was ploughing, and then I'd jump on the crawler, and then I'd literally spend all day. I'd have my little packed lunch. And I'd go and sit on the crawler with him, and it was even better if he was outside in the field, sort of behind the house where I lived. Like I say, the farm was like we were central really to the farm. The house that we lived in was originally owned by the farm, but my mum and dad bought it off the farm when because they were renting it, and it needed several £1,000s of repairs done. It needed a new roof. It needed lots and lots doing to it. And the farm said to my mum and dad, do you want to buy it for £6,000? But obviously you've got to put everything right. And so mum and dad, purchased the house for £6,000, and which back in the 1970s was a significant amount of money, but they still bought, they bought it for that. And then over time they did all the repairs. I mean, obviously they did the new roof straight away because it was leaking, but the rest of the stuff was sort of done as the years went by. The most desperate of jobs needed to be done to make the house sort of warm and waterproof were done first, and then sort of prioritise the job, basically, is what I'm saying. But yeah, so yeah, I've got a lot of admiration for people, as I say, that did farming like this back then, because we don't know, we're born with the comforts that we have in the modern day tractors. As I say, growing up with my granddad, and they, that farm had the Ford Super Dexter, which eventually, many years later, me and John, the guy that I worked with on the farm, we restored that. I learned sort of quite a bit of mechanicking skills. I probably can't remember any of it now because it's so long ago, but I mean, we're talking 2007, 8, and I've sort of not done any since. When I was lucky enough to get the job on the second farm, the big farm, they had their own like mechanics. We didn't fix anything. We were tractor drivers, and that was what we were. If we broke something in the field and it was a quick, fairly easy fix, then yeah, of course we wouldn't ring them up and say, "Oh, can you come all the way across Cambridgeshire to fix something?" You would do it yourself if it was an easy enough repair. But as soon as it was a kind of a repair where I sort of thought, you just ring them up, usually within the hour. We had four mechanics on the farm that would just come out straight away and fix the tractors. So it was sort of, for someone like me, it was good. Anyway, I'm going to crack on with this, and I'll see you at the end when we say our goodbyes. I tell you what, I've woken up today. At first, like for the first couple of hours, I've been extremely, I don't know why, but I've been extremely tired. And I've sort of had to do a few jobs outside quickly that needed doing, and I'm now in a really playful, jokey mood. So before I annoy everyone, I'm gonna toddle off, and we'll do some time lapse. We'll get some more done, and then, as I say, I'll see you at the end. So there we go. We are definitely getting into this field now. It will be, I mean, we can just about see the yellow cut sort of texture, the straw texture, if you like, or the stubble texture, really. Even though it's not much of a stubble texture, but you know what I'm saying. We can just about make that out now, so it'd be nice once I can start to see the other side of the crop on that side as well, and the definite line. I'll know that I'm definitely starting to make headway through the field then. But as I say, that's this is going to be it for this episode. As I say, we've got quite a bit done. Again, I know it probably doesn't feel like it, but you know, we've done quite well. Look at that! Look, I've just noticed we've got 515,000 exactly. Oh, we haven't now. Just as I said it changed. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, so as I say, we're getting slowly through it, and the shed obviously is getting nice and full. But I'll empty the combine off here. I'll take that back to the yard and get it tipped, and we'll carry on with some more. But yeah, so it's not been too bad, and we're getting plenty done. So I can't grumble at that. But I am going to have to go and empty this, because I want to try and see if I can sort of kind of empty the trailer always when I'm relatively near the farm, rather than sort of, you know, all the way over the other side. So that's how I'm trying to work it. And of course, as I get further and further into the field, what eventually will happen is that I'll be able to go a lot further around the field before I need to empty, because you think, you know, we're now missing this much crop, so suddenly I've got to go quite a long way to get this amount of crop into the combine, if you see what I mean. So it like whenever I start, certainly this field, I don't know, that field that we're now coming to on the right there, that we harvested the wheat out of a few episodes ago. That field, it's a big field, but it doesn't feel that big, especially with wheat in it. I don't know why, that's a really odd, but I kind of rock up in that field and I'm kind of like, yeah, we'll get this done, no worries, you know, and bang, you know, within sort of 2 episodes, which for me is usually about four-ish hours of recording. You know, I'm virtually finished it, if not finished it, if it's gone exceptionally well. But say this field that we're in now, it's I sometimes look at it and think, good lord. But once you start to knock the headlands off, and once you start to get, you know, as we are now, probably getting in for about 6 or 7 rows in, I would say, or 7 rounds around the field, you know, suddenly you start to sort of think, actually, you know, we're getting there. So yeah, it's going to be a rest of the day job for me. But and I would love to live stream. I tried again the other day to live stream, but for whatever reason, my NVIDIA GeForce Experience live streaming software-y, appy, whatever kind of thing won't log in to my YouTube account. And because it won't log into my YouTube account, it means I can't live stream. I know I could use OBS, I think I'm right in saying that, but OBS wants to use quite a bit of memory. It's kind of like, I really have the memory to spare, if I'm honest. So it's going to have to wait until we do get the new PC, which, as I say, hopefully, fingers crossed, it won't be all that long, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, so as I say, I'm going to leave this episode here, just because, as I say, we've got quite a bit done, and I think now is a good place to leave this episode. So thanks ever so much for watching. If you haven't done already, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It really does help the channel, it really does help me. And as you know by now, I've set a target of April the 16th, which is my birthday, to have 1,000 subscribers. That's the best 44th birthday present you can give me. And as I say, I promise to keep up my end of the bargain, a video every day, and still releasing, as long as you could help me on your side with hitting that subscribe button. It's free to do so, and you'll also obviously get alerted every time I drop a video, which is every day at 3 p.m. But anyway, after all of that, thanks ever so much for watching. I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Bye for now.